Hello world, this is NuNet and we've got news.
Oh look, that's Ilija.
Hi Ilija, tell us what's new with NuNet.
Well, what's new is that NuNet has applied for Catalyst funding. And as some of you in the Cardano community and the community that follows NuNet knows, Cardano Catalyst is one of the major, let's say, engines that drives growth in the Cardano ecosystem. And NuNet has been participating in that program already in Fund 7 and Fund 8. Now, today we have applied for Fund 14. So we had quite a stop there, really focusing on the fundamentals of the platform. But now we have reached a point that we are ready to expand and grow by utilizing that Cardano engine. And we have submitted some very, very cool proposals. So first of all, what is Fund 14? Fund 14 is 20 million ADA being put up by the Cardano Treasury to support projects. And they are in several groups. And we have found the groups that fit NuNet work the most. And we have prepared 5 and submitted 5 projects for it. So the 5 proposals are quite interesting, and they range from adding new features all the way to very, very deep technical integrations. So I'll just go quickly through 5 of them and what we did on each, so you understand and get a grasp of what NuNet is building, what's in store for NuNet, and how we are planning to utilize the Catalyst to, let's say, accelerate the development and delivery of those. So let's start with the smaller ones. Basically, I have grouped them in a group which I called New Features and Capabilities. I'm sure that Dr. Kabir will explain more in detail on the technical parts. I'll try to keep on a higher level what does it actually mean and what do these proposals actually deliver. So the first one is DIDs. It basically adds a new feature on decentralized identity on the hardware being onboarded on the machines, which basically opens up the whole machine-to-machine economy, where we can have machines identified on the network and transact value and work between them. So it is an essential piece of the puzzle on the NuNet platform. However, what we will build here and offer as open source to the rest of the Cardano community is something that is a fundamental building block for all things related to machine economy.
Every actor in our actor systems, that's why it's new actor, is identified with the ID, and the ID is a decentralized identifier. So it's basically goes along the self-sovereign identity, where basically every entity can create identity for itself. And it would be completely, let's say, provable because it is related on public and private key infrastructure, which are related to those DIDs. So this is what we implemented right now in 0.5 already. So what this proposal basically offers is to align with what kind of self-sovereign identity framework and tooling is used in Cardano network, so that we can plug into all the self-sovereign tooling infrastructure. Because this tooling infrastructure is not only, let's say, the protocol level where we generate the IDs, where users or entities who are using the whatever platform or protocol, they can generate the IDs, but then there is tooling on top of it. How do you relate those IDs to, as I said, physical identities? How do you do this? How do you relate them, in this case, to the wallets in the blockchain, so that they get related? Then to, for example, that can be set to some extent KYC, or depending on what kind of business cases are, what do you need to, how much do you need to relate to the physical identity or not? The NuNet protocols are basically guarantees that we're given with the protocol that we will correctly identify entities in the network, and we will correctly communicate those DIDs, or those, let's say, identifiers, from one place in the network to another. However, we do not, and that's because NuNet itself is a pseudonymous network, we do not require that everybody kind of goes through KYC. However, what we aim to provide those additional whatever tooling that is needed in order to other layers of the self-sovereign identity framework to connect to those, let's say, to the protocol, so that information about actual identities, if that's needed for certain use cases or business models, can be transferred through NuNet. And for that, we need to adapt. And in this case, with Cardano, we need to adapt to the methods and to the tooling that Cardano is using.
Wow, that's an important project.
And it's just one of 5 proposals. Ilija, what's the second one?
The second one is Agent Framework, where we are building a very interesting framework that can be deployed on NuNet, which enables all sorts of AI agents and especially LLMs and local LLMs to be run on the edge and basically on the edge devices and smaller hardware. This is very, very interesting because the whole industry is moving towards the edge AI, where you are running your own personal AIs at the edge on your devices on a small local data center or similar. And we are building a framework to support such applications. So you could have your local agent, but instead of running it somewhere far away in Antarctica, you can run it on your local hardware connected via the NuNet protocol. And we are building the framework to enable that.
Suppose we have agentic AI agent, and this AI agent is built out of different components. Could be large language models running on NuNet or not necessarily on NuNet, because they need basically data centers, so that's depending on how they are orchestrated. Small language models possibly running on people's computers, which are also could be fine-tuned by different people. Then the whole this agentic AI infrastructure, it includes MCP servers, vector databases, rack servers, so forth, which, and having this kind of infrastructure of identification of payment layer and ability to pool resources together and to pay to those resources separately, we basically allow different people to assemble virtual data centers, so to speak, via NuNet, to do certain tasks or maybe to run certain agentic AI. It will allow people to build their own AI agents by constructing different components, while those components can be built by different people and paying for those components as they go through the fast micropayment architecture.
The third one, which I put in this bucket features and capabilities, is GPU clusters. So right now, NuNet has a capability to execute workloads on the GPUs. However, to do a massive scale work, we need to go to the phase 2, which is GPU clusters. Now, if some of you in the community recall that in Fund 8, we have applied for the GPU enabling GPUs on NuNet, and we have finished that. Now we want to scale that up to enable GPU clusters to run on NuNet. So this is the work that we are already working on, and with the Catalyst funding, we can accelerate that work and deliver that capability earlier. Now, if you combine all these 3, you can already see that they are complementary in the sense that you can run AI agents on the GPU clusters and also have the machine economy. So all of these proposals are complementary, and they, let's say, support each other in a sense that the whole is greater than each individual part.
I want to go vote for these proposals.
Hold on. We haven't heard the biggest ones yet.
Now, the next one is very, very interesting use case where we are basically expanding the SPO use case. It's one of the, it's the second one that we applied in Catalyst, which we basically enabled the stake pool operators, which operate the Cardano blockchain, to run on decentralized hardware via NuNet. So you have the stake pool operators on top, which are managing or producing blocks and having relay nodes, etc. And they usually have either a bare metal setup or a cloud setup. Now we are offering a third way that they can deploy it via NuNet protocol on decentralized hardware. And this decentralized hardware can be anything that matches the needs of these stake pools. So it is quite interesting that we have developed that and got a huge interest from the community, especially the SPOs, to utilize this technology that we are providing and to run it on the NuNet protocol and to really expand. Now, we had around 10 stake pool operators already doing so, and we have around 20 in the backlog willing to participate. And through this Catalyst proposal, we want to enter into phase 2 of sense that we are expanding greatly on this pilot, that we are increasing to around 20. We are prolonging the time frame that we are going to support them, and really to have a significant chunk of the SPOs transfer to alternative ways of producing blocks for the Cardano blockchain. Why is this important? It's important from several angles. First, from the Cardano blockchain, because it increases greatly the resiliency. It also increases the protection against censorism of big cloud providers. As well, it has a tendency to lower the costs of the stake pool operators because they are not paying for spot pricing anymore, and they can lower the cost for operating the stake pools. And in turn, the Cardano community benefits because the transactions between the SPOs and NuNet and the compute providers will be done in the Cardano native token, which is the token of the platform, NTX. So a very, very cool case, and it's really combining the community, the stake pool operators, and the NuNet open source protocol. So quite interesting. And the last one is the crown jewel of our proposals. I have left it for the last. And that is basically the expansion of a very popular and very important piece of the puzzle, of the Cardano puzzle, which is Hydra. So Hydra is something of a level 2 on Cardano, where you can have up to 1 million transactions per second. And it enables all kind of, let's say, off-chain compute, which you can do on a very, very small granular level, talking about microtransactions, and then push that to the main chain. What that means in practice is that NuNet can now, through this Hydra head implementation, execute workloads which are extremely small, up to, let's say, $1 or a couple of dollars, $10, and then have all these microtransactions done in a Hydra head and then pushed on the main chain. So that lowers the friction, lowers the cost, and accelerates greatly the throughput of the work that can be done on the protocol. So right now, the NuNet protocol can do these transactions, but the payment protocol cannot follow what the NuNet technology can do. So now with the Hydra head, the whole is phenomenal and can really service this machine-to-machine economy that includes AI agents, hardware, and all sorts of very, very small transactions, as well as big ones. But with a multitude of small ones, we can have a very, very large, let's say, and fast communication and volume between all these entities on NuNet, on Cardano, and by using the Hydra head.
The general direction that we're doing, we're decentralizing the technology. And in this sense, what we have now in the blockchain industry. So one is that while blockchains logically and from the software side, they are decentralized, from the hardware, they are centralized. And it's also very much related to the way people are connecting to blockchain when they need transactions. So now in basically, since running full nodes usually is heavy, so people have gateway APIs through which they connect to the blockchain. So in Ethereum, it's Infura, in Cardano, it's Blockfrost, and so on and so forth. And this is kind of necessary evil because running those nodes is a heavy thing. So there are two parts then. What we want to do, we want to run blockchain nodes, which do payment on NuNet. So Hydra head is actually not let's say it's an off-chain component of Cardano, which allows you to do very fast transactions between the subnets and then put them into the mainnet. So, and this is related to the SPO because SPOs are the ones who are basically mining blocks on the mainnet, on Cardano mainnet. Now, Hydra heads, they allow you to do transaction off chains between the kind of local consensuses and then to offload them on a mainnet. So by also allowing to run not only Cardano SPOs, but also the Hydra heads, we basically allow, or we provide this possibility to run all the components or another component of Cardano network in a decentralized way on different machines.
So this is a big pilot, which will include several entities. We will also be expanding the SPOs that we are already working with. They will be testing this technology with us. And we will also have very, very important, let's say, players in the Cardano ecosystem, tier 1 suppliers and developers who have been building various solutions on Hydra and by using Hydra, and they have been included in the proposal, and we will be teaming up with them to deliver this. So we are really looking forward to have this 3-party or 4-party project moving forward and deliver something phenomenal on the Cardano blockchain and to the Cardano community. Best part of it, and of all these proposals, is that NuNet is an open source project. So everything we do, we give back to the community to be used. So this is really something that we are enthusiastic about, and NuNet is all about open source. Our protocol is open source, and these additions will only contribute to the, let's say, the developer side of the Cardano ecosystem, as well as the commercial and economic side.
Wow, another NuNet co-founder chiming in. Weaver, you're on.
I'm looking at what is the name of it. It's Cardano Catalyst. And I will try on a very high level what our proposals are going to catalyze in the Cardano ecosystem. And it seems to me that I would like to single out three very important, if not critical, aspects where NuNet can become of really critical and real value for the Cardano ecosystem. The first one, of course, is like real decentralization. Like there are quite a few places where the Cardano blockchain and things that are running on this network are using centralized resources and cloud services. So in order to make Cardano really and technologically decentralized, we can provide the solution for this. This is one thing, but it's not only the underlying technological infrastructure that allows the decentralization. I think one of the most important aspects of our proposals of contribution is what I would call a diverse exchange of value. Like creating a really diverse and evolving marketplace where you can exchange value in many places, and this is about the Hydra proposition, like a contract layer, a diverse means of payment for diverse means of services. So this creates a really ecosystem which is decentralized, not only in the technical sense, but also in the socioeconomic sense, yes, because everything will be able to contract everything else and exchange value in really an indefinite number of means, and all this will be very strongly supported by the technology that NuNet is offering for these propositions. And last but not least, all this, of course, requires coordination and security. Security is like, when we speak about decentralization, security is like one of the big capital S. Yes, security is essential. And here we are speaking first about like generally the new actor that allows object capability kind of security that will allow every to really develop security architectures that fit every organization which is using or becoming part of this ecosystem. And even to be a bit more specific, yes, the DID is about security of identity, and there is also security, an infrastructure that takes care of security of information. What information goes where and under which conditions, and how you manage to create the architecture that ensures it. So these three factors, decentralization, which is the most basic technological contribution, and on this, like the diverse, a layer that enables a very diverse exchange of value with a robust, secure architecture, which is flexible enough to fit every use cases which is developed over in the Cardano ecosystem. So these three, I think it encompasses the main body of the propositions.
Now, you understand what the Catalyst is about. Now you understand what we did. Now the next step would be, okay, what's next? How does the process go? So all of our proposals are submitted, and they are now available and can be viewed publicly, together with 1,000+ of other proposals. So take your time, find NuNet. It's easy to find. All of our proposals start with NuNet. and then the description of what we're doing. So it's easy to filter them out in the forest of other proposals. So we are very proud of what we did there. You will see it's a lot of text. It's a hard read. So it's not a read for everybody who is not technical, because it also requires a very deep understanding of our protocol and how you can utilize NuNet and deploy it on Cardano and combine and etc. So it's a hard read. However, I believe that at least the problem statement and the solution is understandable to everybody, and you can from that point already understand what is the capability of these solutions. So what comes next after we have submitted is the review of the proposals. So all the proposals will be reviewed. After they are reviewed, they will be voted on, and then the best projects with the most votes will win, and they will be getting funding from the Cardano Treasury to implement what they have promised. Now, what I would like to reach out to the community is read our proposals. And if you like our proposals, register as a voter. And when the time comes, do vote for our proposals. It will really help us to push through all the other competition out there and to get the funding and accelerate the development and deployment of NuNet on Cardano. So with that in mind, thank you upfront for your support, and hopefully we will win those, and then we can have some very, very interesting developments accelerated.
I'm saying it with a smile, but I really believe in it. It's thinking about the future of Cardano. I cannot imagine Cardano without the infrastructure that NuNet is capable of providing.
Make them vote. Make them vote.
Okay, so for the community, we are going to remind you of the deadlines so that you can vote. We would also like you to share with your friends, share with people that are on Cardano but do not know about NuNet already. So you can share with them, you can ask them to vote as well. You can also read the proposals and share what you think about it. And don't forget to vote for us.
This has been the NuNet News. Over to you, community.